Hello, 7th graders, and welcome to week 1, day 2, which is adding and subtracting integers. This is Mr. Gino Durso, and I am your teacher. To start with our lesson, I may present to you our objectives for today. First, our performance objective is to justify the steps and to add and subtract rational numbers and interpret the sums in real-world context. Our learning objective is I will use a number line to add and subtract integers, and I will use rules to add and subtract integers. Our essential question is how are number lines and rules used to add and subtract integers? So let's define what are integers. An integer is a positive or negative whole number including zero, no fractions, or no decimals. A positive integer is an integer greater than zero, like positive 1, positive 5, 22, 345, and so on. If you notice, a positive integer doesn't have anything before the number, like a plus sign. Without that, that is understood to be a positive number or a positive integer. A negative integer, on the other hand, is an integer that is less than zero, like negative 1, negative 5, negative 23, and negative 345. If you notice in the negative integers, there is a negative sign before each number as an indication that that is a negative integer or a negative number. So this is what a number line looks like. If you can see, the zero is in the center of the number line. So the number 1 is next to the zero, and the number negative 1 is next to the zero on the other side, because negative 1 and positive 1 are opposite numbers, the same as negative 2 and positive 2 and so on. So this arrow here indicates infinity. So let me erase that. This arrow here indicates infinity. That is to infinity because numbers doesn't end. On the other side, all its opposites are also to infinity. So the farther left you travel on the number line, the smaller then is the integer. That means if you're going to compare a negative 10 and a negative 8, negative 8 is smaller in number when it comes to absolute value, but it is bigger in value compared to negative 10. What I'm saying about absolute value is that how far a number is from zero, that is an absolute value. So negative 8 is closer to 0 than 10, therefore negative 8 has smaller absolute value, but negative 8 has bigger integer value than the negative 10. So the farther right you travel on the number line is the larger is the integer. That means if you go to the right, the the positive 2 is always bigger than a positive 1 because this is farther left than the 1. But 1 has a smaller absolute value than 2. So let's talk about absolute value later on because we need that one in one of our operations in adding and subtracting integers. So it is true that that 2 is greater than negative 8. Yes, it's true that 2 is bigger than negative 8. Although 8 has a bigger number as we usually know, but 8 is to the far left compared to the number 2. Just like 10 is bigger than 7 because 10 is to the far right than the 7. Therefore, 2 is also bigger than negative 8 because it's to the right compared to the negative 8. Does it make sense? Now, I want you to write other true statements that you could say about integers on the number line. I want you to write these statements in your discussion box in this part of Schoology. So let's move on to our next slide, which is about using a number line to solve integer addition and subtraction problems. So to add a positive integer, you move to the right. And to add a negative integer, you move to the left. How do we do that? Let's have this as an example. So suppose you have a positive 4 and a negative 7. So this plus sign here or this cross sign means addition. So you are adding a positive number and a negative number. So remember that when you add a positive integer, you move to the right. But when you add a negative integer, you move to the left. These are the rules. First, you put your pencil on 0 and always start at 0 when using a number line. Then move to the right 4 spaces. Why 4? Because the first number here is 4. So that means from 0, you move to the right 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then from number 4, you move your pencil to the left 7 spaces. Why 7 spaces? Remember, that is adding a negative number. And when you add a negative number, you move to the left as to how many times that number is. So you move to the left 7 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now, the point that you land on after moving left 7 spaces is your answer. So what is the point? That is a negative 3. So the sum of positive 4 and a negative 7 is negative 3. So that is how to use a number line in solving integer addition and subtraction problems. Let's have more practice. I want you to look at this few examples. So using a number line to solve integer addition and subtraction. The first example is a negative 3 and a positive 5, which is equal to 2. Let's check if it applies the one that we just previously practiced. So first, you have a negative 3. That means from 0, you move to the left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then you go to the right 5 times because you are adding a positive number. So that is 5. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the point where you land on is the answer or the sum of the integers being added together. So that means 2 is the answer. So the next example is a negative 2, which is 1, 2 from 0. And then you add a negative 4. That means since this is a negative, you move to the left 4 times. So if you move to the left, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, and you land on negative 6. So negative 2 plus a negative 4 is negative 6. The third example, 5 plus negative 7 is equal to negative 2. Let's see if it's negative 2. So from 5, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's positive 5. You add negative 7. And remember, it's negative. So that means you have to move to the left 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is negative 2. Therefore, this is correct. And the last one is positive 4. That means 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you move to the left because you are adding a negative number 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means you went back to 0 and the answer is 0. Right? Right, so that means all of these answers are correct as we apply our knowledge about adding and subtracting integers using number line. Let's proceed to the next slide. I want you to draw a number line on your whiteboard to solve the following problems. A, that is a negative 12 plus 5. B, that is 8 plus negative 3. C, that is negative 5 plus a negative 2. If you will be using a number line, it will be very easy for you to find the answers of these questions. So if for number 1, negative 12 plus 5, if you have negative 7 as your answer, that means that is correct. For now letter B, your answer must be, that is addition of a negative to the 8. That means your answer should be 5. If you have 5 as your answer, that means correct. And letter C, for negative 5 and negative 2, that means you add a negative number from a previously negative number. You should have negative 7 as your answer. If you answer that negative 7, that means your answer is correct. So how many correct answers do you have so far? All right, so let's proceed to the next slide. Next is, what if you have a double negative in between two numbers. So 6 minus negative 9. So that simply means 6 opposite of negative 9. So when you say opposite of negative 9, that statement alone will give you an idea of what is the opposite of negative 9. That is positive 9. Therefore, adding the 6 here, it becomes 6 plus 9. So when you see a double negative between two numbers, just simply remove that two negative signs there and you replace that one with an addition sign because that simply means that is the opposite of negative 9. Then solve using the number line. So since that is already positive 6, from there to 6, then you add 9 more spaces, so that is positive. So you go to the right 9 more spaces. You should have positive 15 as your answer. Okay. Next is, I want you to try this one. I want you to draw a number line in your whiteboard and solve negative 10 minus negative 5. If you can see there are two negative signs in between the negative 10 and the negative 5. What do you think is the answer? If you answered first, let's change this one into negative 10. The negative 10 does not change. It's always negative. Only the two signs in between them will become positive. So that means negative 10 plus 5 on the number line. What is the answer? It should be negative 5. And here, that's 6 plus 2. Your answer should be 8. If you answered negative 5 in the first one, that is correct. And if you answered 8 in the second one, that is correct. Now, let's move on to bigger numbers. What if you are asked to add or subtract bigger numbers wherein it's very impossible for you to apply or to use a number line? For example, you have negative 79, 795 and 245. What if the numbers are too big to use a number line? Are there any rules to follow? How would you try solving it without using a number line? Yes, there are rules to follow. In addition of integers and subtraction of integers, we have these two major rules to follow. The first one is different signs subtract. That means if the two numbers have different signs, one is positive and one is negative, that means you have to subtract them. And the bigger number's sign is the sign of the answer. This bigger number actually means bigger absolute value. For example, you have negative 7 and you add 2. The absolute value of 7, negative 7 is 7. When you say absolute value, that is how far a number is from 0. Negative 7 is 7 spaces away from 0. That means its absolute value is 7. And 2, positive 2, is only 2 spaces away from 0. Therefore, its absolute value is 2. So different signs, you will subtract. So it's not addition here, but you have to subtract. So that means 7 minus 2 is 5. And you follow the sign of the number with a bigger absolute value. So therefore, it should be negative 5. Okay, so this is negative 5. Next is the second rule, same signs add. So when you have 7 plus 2, both are positive, it is simply positive 9. Or if you have negative 5, you add negative 3, both are the same sign, you are adding them, negative of negative 3, that is negative 8. Same signs add, and you just follow the sign of both numbers being added. So that is about addition and subtraction of integers using the rules and not the number line. So let me erase that one and let's proceed to the next slide. So remember to rewrite double negative as positives. Don't forget that. So when you see a negative 9 and minus a negative 5, you rewrite this one first before you apply whether it is DSS big or SSA same. So the first example, we have negative 9 and opposite of negative 5, that is plus 5. Therefore, is it SSA big or DSS same? So this is negative and this is positive. Therefore, this is DSS. Different signs subtract. So 9 minus 5 equals 4. And what is the sign of the bigger absolute value? Is 9. It's negative. So the 9 has bigger absolute value. Therefore, that is negative. Okay? So negative 9 plus 5 is the same as 9 plus a negative 5, or negative 9 minus 5. So that is negative 4. Next is trying out this one. Decide whether this is DSS big or SSA same. Look at the examples. 167 is positive. You subtract 78. When you say subtraction, that means you are going to the opposite side. That is negative 78. You're taking away 78 spaces. You're moving to the left 78 spaces from 167. Therefore, it is DSS big. Here, you are having a negative number first and you add a 45. So this is positive, this is negative, and the other one is positive. So it's very obvious that this is DSS big. Next is, what about negative 95 plus negative 87? So it's also very obvious that this is negative and the other one is also negative. So negative and negative, when you add them together, it will become even more negative, and that is same signs add. Here, a negative 56, and remember that subtraction means negative. So negative 56 and negative 12, that makes it even more negative, and the same thing is SSA same. Right? Any questions so far? Let's see how do you understand these things, and I want you to go to the closure discussion box in Schoology and explain the rules of adding and subtracting integers in your own words. That is for your closure later on after we have our individual practice. If you have any questions, send me a message or put a question in the discussion box so everybody can see. All right? So again, this is Mr. Gino Durosol, and that is the end of our week 1, day 2 lesson about adding and subtracting integers using a number line and using rules. Have a great day, everybody.